like I said, Modern Conversation is going to be at Jerry's on July 29th. What can people find you doing before you go on stage? You like warming up, shaking up?
Usually throwing up in the bathroom, drinking large amounts of alcohol. No, right before the show? Well, I'm usually running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to do too many things at once. And thankfully, the lovely Maggie, who's our manager and one of our vocalists, she's been helping a lot with setting the show. But I still haven't learned entirely how to relax yet. I'm still working on that. Even though I'm a yoga instructor, it takes time.
Well, what about after a show? Do you like to come out, see other acts if there's any acts going on, or you kind of to yourself?
Usually just head right home. No, I like to, I really enjoy hanging around and talking with the fans and the people who show up. A lot of them are great friends, and I just like mingling, After the show, to me, is when I get to relax a little bit more and chill, have a beer or two. I don't really drink during the show too much.
Well, when you do drink, what is your drink of choice?
Drink of choice, I like a porter, porter ale.
Favorite brand?
Oh, probably. Well, this sounds bad, but what is it called? I can't even think right now. What's the name of that English beer? Never mind. I'm drawing a blank here. What's it called?
It's not Newcastle?
Newcastle. Thank you very much. Yes. Newcastle.
All right. Now, also on tap for the 29th, it's not only your show, it's also going to be CD release, correct?
Right, yes.
And you were saying this album's 4 years in the making?
Yeah, the album is called Living on the Outside. It's an EP, and I began recording this about 4 years ago with my good friend Fran McConville Jr., who plays guitar on the album. He's a phenomenal lead guitarist, songwriter. He and I began recording it, and then our friend John Stevenson laid down the drums for it in California. And I came to Chicago. I moved to Chicago February 2008, and big life change for me. I moved here from LA, and it got put on the back burner for a long time. And in the meantime, I assembled a new band. I assembled Modern Conversation. Before I was kind of just a solo artist. But so I didn't finish it until, just about 6 months ago. I did the vocals out here at a place called Cat's House Studios with a recording engineer, Alan Crane, who was awesome. And had some band members finish up the bass tracks and some of the other tracks, and just finished it all here. So it's been a long time coming.
After so much time of working on this, here and there, was there any point you were just like, screw it, I'm going to scrap it and just like start all over, or just not even hear this stuff again, or maybe start all over?
I never did lose hope on it, I guess, because I really liked what we started with, and I thought, I want to take these songs and build them into something. And the band now is a different band. It's different. The musicians on this album are different than the current musicians. So a part of me would really love to redo a lot of these songs with the current musicians because I love them, and they bring a whole new style.
More time.
It would, but you know what? I think we're going to do it. We're going to do like an acoustic version.
Re-release, maybe.
Yeah, I want to do like a re-release. We've been talking about doing an acoustic album, so maybe just kind of because our drummer Janet Kramer, phenomenal percussionist drummer, and she's got all sorts of percussion toys, and she could really add a ton to these songs and more. So don't be surprised if you see a reissue acoustic version.
All right, if people want to stay updated with the possible re-release, new music and shows, where can they find Modern Conversation on the internet?
On Facebook, facebook.com/Modern Conversation. We're on YouTube, and modernconversation.com. All three of those places. As well as if you just want to show up at our front door, we can let you know what's going on.
You're doing shows now. What's your set list look like? Do you kind of practice a basic set list, or does it vary from show to show for you guys?
It varies from show to show. We have a lot of originals, probably about, close to 20 that we choose from. And we like to throw in some cover songs.
That was my next question.
Yeah, we'll do a little Dynamite by, is it
Teo Cruz.
Teo Cruz. As well as Maggie will sing Adele's Rolling in the Deep. She does a beautiful rendition of that. We like to do a little bit of Doors, David Bowie. So we'll change it up. We like to keep it fresh.
Do you have any favorite bands or artists that have new music coming out, or music that's recently been out that you're excited for?
Yes. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the band Duck and Goose.
Oh yeah.
Awesome group. They just came out with an EP, which they recorded live, and it's phenomenal. I have a great friend named Jane Thatcher who's opening up for us on the 29th at 9:30, and she's got a great album out. I think she released it a year ago. And that's a phenomenal album.
All right, again, I got Modern Conversation in here for the New Music Binge. Just a couple more questions, and then we're going to get to another song off of the new album, Living on the Outside, which is due out on the 29th.
Yes, it's going to be on iTunes, too.
I was just going to say, if people can't get the show, they can get it on iTunes?
Get it on iTunes,
all right.
Exactly.
We've talked a lot about the music. Let's switch up gears a little bit.
Okay.
Are you a TV guy? Watch a lot of TV? Do you have a favorite TV show?
Doesn't
have to be on now.
Yeah, of all time. God, some of the shows of Nickelodeon back in the early 90s, late 80s, I have to say. Richard over here is giving me that look. Are you afraid of the... Yeah. And you can't do that on television? That was awesome.
Legends of the Hidden Temple?
Yeah. All that good stuff. I love watching a lot of the reruns, or not the reruns, but the DVDs of what's that one? I'm so terrible with names today. What am I blanking? The new one was Chevy Chase, and it's about Community. Community.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's an awesome show. I love that one. I love the comedies.
Now we said this album's been 4 years in the making, and also went through a couple lineup changes as well, right?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, this album was created, like I said, with myself and my guitarist at the time, Fran McConville Jr., who's all over this album, and he and I co-wrote a song together, track 4, which is called Come of Age. Phenomenal guitar player. He helped me produce this album, and I owe a ton to him. But he did not follow me to Chicago, unfortunately, when I moved out here, so I had to find a whole new lineup. And Modern Conversation has been around for over 3 years, and all the original members, besides myself, I'm the singer and guitarist for it, have since moved on. Most of them actually moved out of the city because of me. So somewhere about a year and a half ago, I met Jackie Rada, who's our keyboard player, phenomenal keyboard player. Check her out at JackieRada.com, or Jacqueline, pianobyjacqueline.com, something like that. Just Google her, you'll find her. Anyways, and then she introduced me to our awesome drummer, percussionist, Janet Kramer, who's also a phenomenal musician, percussion grad from grad school. I forgot which school that was. Sorry, Janet. And then more recently, I added some very good friends to the band. Chris Walker has joined us on bass. And then we've got some fabulous female singers doing some backups and occasionally singing a song or two, and that's Maggie Mitchell, Amira Sabat, am I pronouncing her last name right? And then also Melanie Camras has been joining us as well, played a couple of shows with us. And then we also have a violinist named Nora Williams, who plays viola as well, and she's played 2 shows with us. So we like to switch things up. It depends on the venue. We would kind of mix and match things up. But, this album, as you mentioned, 4 years in the making, it's great because it's something that I've been working on for a long time. It kind of represents the past a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to be releasing it, getting it out there, because right now we're working on a bunch of new stuff. We're in the studio finishing up a new EP, just filmed a new music video for a song called Love and Shame, which was awesome, a great experience. It's our 3rd music video. It'll be up on YouTube shortly, and so it's exciting. So this show on the 29th, it's at Jerry's. It's great because it'll be the release for this album, mm-hmm. and then also we're going to get to talk about everything else we're doing, and you'll get to hear the new sound of Modern Conversation, which has evolved quite a bit over the last few years.
Well, you guys said you were recording now, or just finished recording. Is that right?
Yeah, we're basically finished. We have 1 or 2 small things to add, and then we're basically in the mixing phase right now.
So can we get a ETA ballpark when we're going to be getting new music?
Yeah, probably January 2015. No, it's at the rate that it was this last album. No, it's probably going to be, I'm going to say September.
Okay.
September, October, somewhere around there. So we'll be keeping you posted. Hopefully be back in the studio around that time.
Now, with the advances of technology, we have so many different ways to listen to music. You used to have just radio or go to a show. Now we have iPods and YouTube, and vinyl made a big comeback, and there's still that live show. Yeah. So I'm curious, what's your favorite way to actually hear music?
My favorite way is live. Personally, there's nothing I enjoy more than hearing musicians live. I love seeing buskers on the street, great street performers. I, in fact, have been busking a little bit lately myself. I used to do that in my hometown of Santa Barbara, California, and took a trip to New York few weeks ago, played some in Central Park, had an awesome time, and I said, when I get back to Chicago, I'm going to go play out on the streets a little bit. So I have been, because I love listening to street performers. So yeah, that's it.
And you made the move from LA to Chicago, is
right?
That right?
I did.
Could you compare and contrast? I've never been to LA before. I was curious, city-wise.
Well, Chicago is like heaven, and Los Angeles is kind of like purgatory. No, they're very different. I love Chicago for the city itself is incredible. The culture, the heritage, and the history here. I love that you don't have to own a car. Mm-hmm. LA I've come to appreciate a lot more since being removed from it. I don't think I'd ever live there again. It's just not my place, but I love to visit. And, people are I'd say probably a little more laid back there. Maybe slightly more open-minded, although Chicago to me is a very, very open-minded city. But, the weather, you can't beat that LA weather, of course.
Especially today.
Yeah, right. I'm actually going to be spending a couple months in California this winter. I decided I can't do...
Chicago.
I can't do February, March, half of January. So I decided I'm gonna take a little hiatus, write some new songs, come back in the beginning of spring, and start anew.
Right. Well, when you come back and you start anew, I know you guys are wrapping up recording studio now.
Right.
When you get back into the recording studio again,
sure.
Any different instruments you haven't gotten to use in the past that you're excited to put on?
Yeah, I want to record. I want to have Nora come and record some viola and violin, and then just having these female backup singers I think is awesome. We've been doing some incredible vocal arrangements, so I'm excited to do that. And I want to see if we can get some accordion going.
Nice.
I love all this new this kind of folk rock revolution that's happening with Mumford and Sons and the Abbott Brothers, and so I'd love to bring in some banjo, mandolin. That I love roots. I love roots music, and a lot of our music has a folk base to it. So we'll see what can be done. This album is going to be on iTunes. If it's not up already, it will be probably within the next 5 to 7 days. I submitted it about a week ago, and we've got our last album, About Time, up on iTunes as well. So find us there, modernconversation.com. You can find us on YouTube, see some videos, check it out.
Do you guys
like
tweet at all?
Oh, yeah.
We do tweet. I communicate what I'd like to say to the world through Twitter, which is usually very profound and prolific. But I just can't tweet that long. Okay.
All right, well, we're going
to have you there. It's a CD release show, as Justin mentioned. And just to plug Jerry's a little bit, Jerry's is this awesome restaurant and music venue now. They have a music room, serve fantastic food, large selection of sandwiches, and the music and sound, or the sound in this room is phenomenal. It's on Division at Damon, and show is only $7. It comes with a copy of the CD, so if you come, you'll be leaving with a copy of the new CD, and we're excited about it. I want to give a shout out to all my current bandmates: Jacqueline Raid on piano, Janet Kramer on percussion and drums, Chris Walker on bass, Maggie, Amira, and Melanie on backing vocals, and Nora Williams as well, who none of whom are here except for Maggie. She's here backing me up.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming in. Hit us up when that new Modern Conversation music comes out.
We certainly will. Thanks, Justin.
But that's it for the New Music Bench today. I'll be back tomorrow with Tweet Quest at 11.